Hello, Revere, and welcome to the August 2019 Senior Show. My co-host, Steve Fielding, Director of the Senior Citizens at the Elder Affairs. Steve, before we start, you have a lot of things to talk about, so why don't you start it off, please?
And I just realized this is our 48th show. So 4 years ago, we started this little gig together. That's gone by pretty fast, huh?
Yep.
You were a young man then.
I know, I was in my 20s, but doing this age me.
Anyway, folks out there in TV land, I just want to talk. We're a little giddy today. Maybe it was because we went to the police academy graduation ceremony yesterday.
We're going to talk about that.
We're going to talk about. So if you're not familiar with the show, as Morris and I have brought to you every month for the last 4 years, it's very informative. We're very informal guys, so we want to share information, but we want to make it light. In any regard, we have a special monthly luncheon coming up at the Senior Center on Thursday, August 27th, and we're going to bring to you Howie Connolly's Memory Laners, and they've been around for a while.
Oh, excuse me for 1 second for interrupting you. You know, there was a big problem in London, I heard this morning, with Big Ben. I wish they would start it up.
Yeah, they really should start it up, especially with the heat wave in Britain. You want to make sure that the time is moving along.
Exactly.
Right. There's a guy over there in Britain that we know named Ashton. Maybe he will catch on to this.
Oh, okay.
In any event, the Memory Laners will perform at our special lunch on Thursday, August 27th, and it'll be a great lunch. I just want to let people know out there, Morris, we have now officially started a new class called Bead Weaving. It started in July, and it's very intricate, detailed jewelry making, and it's every Tuesday from 9:30 to 11:30, and it's a great thing to do.
Can people sign up for it anytime?
Oh, actually, I'm sorry. We have 2 classes starting. I messed the time up. It's 11 to 2 on Tuesdays. Sorry about that, folks. And we have another class on Tuesdays called the Art Group, and that's from 9:30 to 11:30. So you don't have to call and make reservations. It's free. Just show up and have a great time. Also, Thursday, July 18th is our book club that meets every third Thursday of the month from 2:30 to 3:30. And if you want to join the book club, come on down. We usually hold it in the knitting room, and it's a pretty good and very growing club that we have. Blood pressure with Carol Donovan. You know Carol.
Yep.
She is expected to come down on August 8th and the 22nd for blood pressure readings and consultation. You should call the Senior Center just to confirm, being it's summertime. We also have Mary Marino with Affordable Hearing Aids. She'll help fit you with new hearing aids, help you with the batteries of your older ones, recommend ones if you need them. She's at the Senior Center Thursday, August 27th, usually at 10 a.m. You don't need an appointment, but it does help to make sure that Mary will be there. So I always tell people to call the Senior Center at 781-286-8156. We have a chair massage woman. Her name is Barbara McDonald, and she really helps seniors quite a bit with all kinds of aches and pains. She's at the Senior Center on August 5th and August 6th. She's usually there in the morning. And the last thing that I want to present to you out there is our monthly podiatry clinic with Dr. Kaplan. He's at the Senior Center the first Wednesday of every month. This month it's August 7th. He's usually there at 8:15 in the morning, and he'll only stay until the last toe is cut. Not cut, but trimmed, whatever you want to call it. Clipped. There you go. There you go. So that's kind of the quick and dirty little news report of what's going on at the Senior Center, other than to say we're having some repairs done upstairs in a couple of rooms, and we've redone the bocce court again to make it presentable for the upcoming bocce season, and we are planning the Revere Chelsea bocce tournament that may be held the first or third week of September, but I'll keep you informed of that once we nail it down.
I would like to say one thing if I can, Steve. We have a great fellow working at the Senior Center, Charles Mackin.
Charles Mackin.
And he celebrated his 94th birthday a couple of weeks ago. So I'd like to wish Charlie and from the whole city of Revere a big happy birthday.
Yep. And as a birthday partner of his, you just celebrated your 90th birthday recently.
Yep.
With since we were on air last time, and you had a great surprise party at the VFW,
Oh,
didn't you?
would like to say it was great. I would like to thank the people that were there. I would like to thank you and Pamela Anderson that did a great, magnificent job.
Very
there
good job.
with Rose Colonino.
Yeah, it was very,
Okay,
very nice
so
planning.
these are seniors doing things for seniors and veterans doing things for veterans.
And you people at home, if you want to catch Morris at his birthday party, there were a couple of things going on. One, Rose from the Revere TV taped that entire event, right?
Yep.
And Joe Fortunato,
Right.
I Own Revere, also went around and interviewed people, and they made comments about you, all favorable. So I'm sure I saw that one. That was
Yep.
pretty good.
Yep.
So Revere TV, is grateful to have you as part of their Revere TV family, I'm sure.
I see you have your Police Academy shirt. I have mine on because I went there, but we'd like to start off, so why don't you start that off?
Well, I would say, Morris, as you know, in May, Captain Amy O'Hara of the Revere Police, she's in charge of the Community Services Division, called me, and they came up with an idea at the police station, and it may have been Kathy Callahan, but I'm not positive of that, to host a modified version of the Senior Citizen Academy. And
I think
create-
it was Kathy that originated the idea.
that's what I'm saying. I think I was
you're
told
right.
that, and I don't want to mislead people,
No,
but
no.
I believe she was.
Yep. And she did a great job, and they
Yeah.
did a great job.
Yeah, so the Senior Citizen Academy, which went from July 27th through yesterday's graduation, August 1st, was a wonderful 4-week program, and you took place in the class.
Right.
Now, before I ask you questions, or you could tell us about it, I just want to mention a few people that were responsible for it. Captain O'Hara, obviously, Officer Jerry Salvati, who we both know very well, retired Officer
Carl
Carl
Bergioli.
Bergioli.
Right.
It was Captain Dennis Collier was involved in that as well. We got the endorsement of Chief Jim Gatto,
Right.
who certainly supported it, as well as Mayor Brian Arrigo. So all those folks and the Senior Center and my staff, Camille Cimbelli, was responsible for putting this all together. And the police did a wonderful job. And there were different police officers and detectives that came down, as well as the canine officer, Mike Mason, I believe.
Yep.
So why don't you, and Sergeant, is Sergeant Joe Internicola? Is he a sergeant?
Yes.
I'm not,
Yes.
I think he is.
He's on the SWAT team.
Right, he's on the SWAT team. So you attended the 4-week class.
Right.
And every 4-week classes, every class had a specific topic.
Right.
Why don't you tell me your impressions of this?
I thought it was excellent because one of them came in with a German Shepherd and showed us how the dogs work to catch the criminals. Joe explained to us about how the SWAT team works, and they do have a tough job.
Yeah.
And then we had the things on there about the different weapons that they use to get the people out.
All the tactical gear and
Right.
the shields and the weapons, et cetera, right?
Yep. So usually the SWAT team comes in, but Captain Amy O'Hara, she's like a spokeswoman, to keep people, if a person has a mental disorder, they try to ease up on him to bring him out. But as a last resort, they will use tear gas or
Right.
whatever they have to use on there.
The impression I got is when Captain O'Hara was speaking about being a
Right.
negotiator, she was the one that actually had the personal contact with
The person, right.
The person.
Yep.
It was quite awesome to hear how the psychology behind asking them questions, distracting them so that other police officers could participate in getting the situation,
Then she passed the paper around, and she had the people touch the papers to get our fingerprints on there.
Yeah.
I hope she ripped mine up, by the way. And then she showed how they do that. But today they have electronic DNA testing, which is
Right.
a lot better than the fingerprints because you can alter your fingerprints, but you can't alter your
Right.
DNA.
Now, the one class I was not able to go to was the one in which the canine dog Walsh
Yep.
who was actually retired, from what I understand.
He come from Czechoslovakia,
He came
by the
from.
way.
Did he bark in Czechoslovakia?
No, he was a German Shepherd, so he barked in German. But the one thing I did notice that the owner of the dog, they have different passwords for them because they didn't want to say sit, like keep the dog away. They're trained to do only thing that comes from the owner himself.
Right.
So the criminals cannot give him things to eat because he won't eat it. He'll only eat what the owner gives him.
Right. I know that when the seniors were up in the room, the German Shepherd came in with Officer Mason, and everybody wanted to pat him and
He
give
wouldn't
him
allow
food,
it.
and it's not allowed. I mean, this is a working dog. He's not well, right now he's
Retired.
transitioning into being a pet, because he's retired. But
But I liked to what he had. He put away explosives in different places.
Right.
And he had the dog go sniffing, and when if it wasn't there, the dog would bypass it. There it is.
it's my understanding that Walsh is retired now and lives with Officer Mason and his family.
Yep.
But at the same time, he's training a new dog named Chance, which is a puppy.
Right.
So the puppy is so young, he probably would have been overwhelmed with all the seniors in the multi-purpose room. So he brought Walsh into the room. And I understand one of the questions you had was, well, if I threw a steak in front of him, would he go after it and start munching on it?
And the answer was no.
No. And like you said, he only takes orders
From his own, because what's to keep somebody from putting poison or something in the meat and giving it to
Absolutely.
the dog?
Now, Officer Internicola also brought in some riot gear and tactical gear, right?
Yep.
Can you tell us a little about that?
Well, you mean Sergeant at the Joe?
Yes. Yeah.
Yep.
Didn't he bring a shield in and some weapons?
He brought a shield in. He brought a mask in for tear gas so he can breathe if he has to go into the house.
Right.
He also bought a thing, a baton, and that that you can throw or something and trip the guy up.
Yep.
Mace, a gun. I mean, that fires like a
AK-47 or something
yep.
like that?
Yep. Which is a lot stronger than the Uzis that the criminals have. He brought them in and showed how they work.
And then,
The bulletproof vest,
Yes.
the shield, for riot gear in there. But they do have a tough job. But the SWAT team does not do anything before Captain Amy has a chance to discuss the thing with the person.
And they're ready to go.
Right.
Whenever. I understand that there were also 2 female detectives on the police force that spoke, and that must have been very interesting as well.
Right. Undercover detectives,
Undercover.
too, by the way.
Right.
Right.
So anyway, let's talk about the graduation. Yesterday was August 1st, and there was a wonderful ceremony right at the dining room in the senior center, huh?
Most of us that attended the course graduated yesterday. They gave us a certificate
Yes.
of the Revere Police showing that we took the 4-week course. And by the way, they were going to continue the course in the fall, which is going to be held at the Prospect House. So you can tell us a little more
Well,
about it.
at this point, I don't have a lot of information. I know that both Captain O'Hara and Officer Silvati are working on doing something at the Prospect House, and it hasn't been announced yet officially, so I don't know the dates, but I'm sure that they will keep you informed and they will notify people through the paper. But I do want to mention, Morris, that there were 18 people in the class that you just finished. And you got the shirt and the certificate, but you had to attend every class, right? And it was like 45 minutes to an hour per class.
Usually from 10:30 to 11:30.
Right. So I know that I got many comments from the different officers that were there that they were so happy that seniors love the program, and they want to roll it out at the senior center again in the near future. I don't have a date on that, but we are taking names.
Right. Then they want to roll it out in the fall, but it's going to be rolled out at the Prospect House.
Yeah, and then do it at the senior center again. Yeah,
again.
both. Yeah.
Right.
So I would say to people at home who are seniors, one, you have to commit to the 4 classes. You cannot say, oh, I'll go to this one or I'll go to 2.
Oh, no, you got to go to all 4.
It's a requirement to earn the certificate as you did.
Right.
Go to every class. And if you want to sign up, and I don't know when the class is going to be, just call the senior center at 781-286-8156. Give your name to who answers the phone, whether myself or one of the ladies in the office. We'll take your name down and your phone number, and we'll inform you as to when the next class will be.
but it's first come, first served. So,
Absolutely.
I mean, that's the way it is.
You know, it's a serious class.
It is.
I mean, you do learn a lot, and you do have to earn your certificate. There was no test, per se.
No, there's no exam. I mean, but
Right.
you do learn a lot because it gets the community involved with the police and the police with the community.
Yes.
And always say, if you see something, say something.
Right. And I think you and I had Officer Salvati and Captain O'Hara as a guest, I believe it was June,
On the show,
just
right.
before the class started. So
Right.
they kind of talked about that. And I remember them saying that they want people to understand that police are human beings. They want to interact with the community, to see them as they are, not just an officer directing traffic or somebody giving a ticket.
No, no.
They actually have feelings. They are very passionate about their job. They love the city that they work in. They love the people that they deal with. Not so much the criminals, but they do treat people with respect, regardless of whether they're a criminal or not.
I would like to say one thing. I come from New York originally. And when I watch TV and I see how they throw water on the police there and the police keep their cool, it's a shame that
Right.
the mayor of New York City, I have to say this, the mayor of New York City does not get those people, fine them heavy, and put them in jail for a month or two to teach them a lesson. The police are the ones that protect us. They do. They
That's
put
right.
their life on the line.
They do.
I mean, just like a veteran in the Army does or in the service. Their life is at stake every day they go out. They don't know if they're going to come back, even at home at night. We should honor the police and help them in every way we can and not aggravate them. So, Mayor of New York, do a better job for the police down there.
And I have to say, you know, we had the Sandcastles event in July. Millions of people went down there, and I know Chief Guido and the entire police force.
There wasn't any problems.
From what I understand, there was no problems, and I know that they had a strong police presence, and that's a lot of testimony to how the Revere Police organized the protection and safety of individuals
Right.
and kept order.
Then I agree with you. Now, the police gave us some catalogs. Here happens to be one of them. Steve has one of them. And then there's a lot of information about how you as an individual can protect yourself. So, Steve, why don't you start out with some of yours?
All right, I'll just take a few minutes to talk about how you can help protect yourself at home. And you're going to talk about other things.
Right.
Okay? One of the things that is emphasized is that you want to make sure your doors are locked. You know, make sure you use deadbolts. You want to make sure that you install locks that if you move to a new home or lose your key, you know, you won't be up in a bind. You want to keep your garage and basement doors locked as well. Criminals can get in anywhere. You want to make sure all your windows are locked if you live in the city. You make sure you draw your curtains and your blinds. Sometimes people install and use peepholes in their door, and that allows
Right.
you to look out to see who's there. A lot of people today, it's not on here, but a lot of people buy those security doorbells,
Yep.
and you don't even have to be home. You have an app on your phone, so if the doorbell rings, nobody's home, you can click on your app, and it also has a voice activation system built in. So you can tell them you don't want to say nobody's home. You can say no thank you, or whatever you want to say, so you can see who's there. You might want to consider a pet. And you had a pet at home, and
A pet has its ups and downs, and I'll tell
Yeah.
you why I could say that there.
yeah,
If I'm a criminal and I want to break into the house and I hear a dog, I'm going to think twice.
right.
But then again, the dog may not be barking all the time. I had a dog that could not bark because he was hurt as a puppy in there. So the criminal thinks no one is in there. They'll try to break in. Sometimes they'll even use the phone to see if someone answers the phone to make sure.
I'm going to skip through some of these,
Go
but
ahead.
this will be a segue into what you're talking about, because one of the things it says here is in the home, beware of phone and internet scams.
No, you continue with that.
You know, don't give your personal or financial information out over the phone. A lot of seniors may get a call and they may say, we are calling to verify your social security number in order to make sure that we're updated with it.
Right.
And seniors don't fall for that. Never give information. And you've experienced that, right?
Right. I think they call it snooping, where I got a phone call with my own number, my own name on it, but I never answered it. I just let it ring.
Yep.
Let your caller ID or your information take it. And you could check it by calling them back, but never answer. And don't use one word on there. Never say the word yes.
Correct.
When they ask you a question, is it no or yes? Just hang up, because the minute you say yes, they can impose that word on something that you never said. Like you order something, and they could say, well, he ordered a TV for $400, and he said yes when I asked him.
Well, I could call you and say, is this Mr. Morris? And you
Right.
might say yes.
Right.
They have your recording right there.
Exactly.
Right. And don't open or respond to any emails that you might get if you don't know who they are.
Right.
So
And-
that's kind of my little thing about the home thing.
Right. You know, I was going to talk, since this is about August,
Yes.
July, August, people will go on vacation. And here are a few items that I thought I would give you. First of all, leave your expensive jewelry at home or have it locked up in a vault in a safe deposit box. Purchase special clothing or accessories to hide your passport, money, or credit cards, and keep the majority of your funds hidden. Okay? Number 3, keep handbags in front of you and close with a fastening towards your body, if possible. Keep your wallet in front pockets. Beware of being jostled or bumped where you're in a crowd. Pickpockets could be trying to distract you.
Well, I have a story about that. My friend
Please do.
friend of mine and his wife they run trips for people with special needs, and they were in New Orleans. And my buddy had somebody come up to him acting like he was inebriated, put his arm around him, and, you know, hey buddy, how are you, and all that. Welcome to New Orleans. He looked like a tourist, and he was with all these people. And afterwards, he found out his wallet was gone. Somebody went into his wallet while he was being distracted, so it was a
Right.
tag team, and they used the credit card. So it was a tough situation.
Also, be careful when you use your cell phone. Don't leave it out on a table. Keep it with in your purse or pocket.
Right.
And what is the reason for that?
Well, somebody could take it right off the bar. I've been out to eat and people put their phones on their table, or you're at the bar having a drink and somebody puts, a lot of people put their phones out,
I know that.
and it's crazy. I don't understand why
And
they
be
would do
careful, no one is looking over the phone to get your PIN number or your passport.
that.
Password.
Which reminds me, like you go into a Stop and Shop or a Market Basket and you're using your debit card,
Yep.
and then you have to debit it out, and they ask you for your password right away. And I know there's like a little cover on it, but that's dangerous. There's people all around you.
I know that. Also, place valuables if you go into a hotel in a safe deposit box or room safe. Don't leave them out in the open in your hotel room.
Right.
Never, because some people can come in and clean up, but you don't know who it is, and your jewelry can disappear.
Yep. And also, I would suggest too, if you're going on vacation, have somebody pick up your mail, or
Definitely.
have your mail stopped.
And your garbage too, by the way, to be put
Right.
out on the days they pick it up, because
Absolutely.
criminals see no garbage here, they know nobody's home.
Right.
And finally, on this one here, familiarize yourself with escape routes in hotels so you can get out quickly in case of an emergency.
Right. Exactly.
Pick up another one, Steve.
Well, when you have to protect your valuables and your information, so even they say even when you go on vacation, Morris, you may lose your credit card, or if your credit card's used.
I
in
lost
the wrong-
mine. I called
Yeah.
right away to put an end to
Well,
it.
they say you got to have all that information stored someplace, either
Right.
on your person or in your hotel room or wherever you're staying, to make sure that if that happens, bang, you can
It
call
was
up.
just on the news the other day, Steve, where they hacked into Amazon with over 100 million Americans.
No, Capital One.
Was it Capital
Capital One, yeah,
Okay.
yeah, it was Capital One. Over 1 million people.
Right. Canada and the United States. Right.
And one of the things they also mention here, which ties into what you were talking about, is to organize a buddy system. In other words, have a neighbor patrol your house, go around the
Oh, yeah.
yard. Or make sure that if you have Amazon packages delivered, they're picked up and brought to the neighbor next door or whatever.
Right. Okay, now I'd like to talk about people. Most of the seniors still drive today. They do.
Yeah.
So the first thing they say on here, for seniors to protect yourself who drive, don't ever pick up hitchhikers. Raise the hood of your vehicle if you have trouble on the road. Turn on your emergency flashes. If you have an antenna, attach something white on it. When people stop to help, don't get out of the car unless you know them or it's the police. But never get out of your car. Keep your car doors locked and your windows up until you are in a safe location. If you find yourself driving in an unfamiliar, dangerous-looking area. Okay, that is some of the things.
Okay, so when you're a senior, particularly, you park close to the store that
Right.
you're going into, okay? Choose an area that's well lit,
Right?
especially at night, obviously. Lock your valuables in the trunk and make sure you look around before you get out of your car. You want to make sure, and we're not trying to frighten people out there, but we want people to be aware of safety issues that could arise. When you're driving, you should keep your doors locked. You keep your purse and your valuables, out of sight. If you're harassed at a stop sign, don't open the windows, drive away as soon as possible. And like you said, never pick up hitchhikers.
Right. Also, if you're driving and you continue driving and try to get away, if another driver tries forcing you to pull over or cut you off, it isn't to put you in danger. Get a hold of the license plate number of the car and a description of the car and the driver, because sometimes they will do that. They will have two cars working in cahoots. Right. One will try and pull you over, while the other one may want to get out to help you.
Absolutely. And the only other thing I want to add to this, because we're getting down to the time, is if your car breaks down, stay in the car.
Right.
If you can put the hood up, fine, but if you can't, you just sit in the car, particularly seniors, put your flashes on. If you have a phone, call 911. And if a stranger stops to help, sometimes that's not a good thing.
No.
And you might ask them to call a law enforcement officer. But remember, speak through a closed window.
Right, but here's two things that we can finish up here roughly, which says park in a spot with good lighting that is close to a location where there are lots of people.
Right.
Right? And lock your valuables in the trunk and lock all doors.
Yeah.
And finally, walk to your car with your keys in your hand. In case of you feel unsafe, set off the alarm in the car. That'll scare them away sometimes, Steve.
Now, the world we live in is so different than years ago. And this circles back to, thank God we have good police officers, and particularly in Revere. Never fear of contacting a police officer that might be nearby when you need help. Revere Police will always be there to help you.
Not only Revere Police, I got to tell you about the state police. They're terrific.
Yeah.
I was speeding down going to New York. I was the only car on the highway. The only car on the highway. And I'm speeding, and the state trooper pulled me over. And he says, "Where you going?" I says, "I'm going to New York." He says, "There's nobody around. Why are you going so fast?" I says, "I'm behind all the cars there." He says, "Take your time. You'll catch up to them." That's what I was trying to do. So I got a ticket for that.
Oh, that's good.
Okay.
Good ticket. A well worth ticket. Okay.
Okay, Steve, real quick.
In closing, if you're a senior, if you're living alone, if you feel isolated, if you don't feel you're a senior, throw that all out the window. Come down to the senior center. You'll meet friends like Morris and other people who will greet you, who will help you acclimate to everything that we have going on down there. There's so much going on down there.
We have the good movies, old and new, every Wednesday.
Yeah.
The people that like movies, I'm talking movies that are at the theater right now, I believe, some of them.
Oh, yeah.
So, you don't have to pay $10, $15, $20 to go see a movie. Come down, have lunch, and
Yeah.
enjoy a good movie.
We have a low-cost shuttle, which you take every day.
Yep.
We have a wonderful meals program. It's $1.50 every day for lunch.
Except for the party.
Luncheon, yeah, the luncheon special luncheons are $5, but we have great entertainers. We always have
Who's entertaining us in August, by the way?
Howie Connolly's Memory Laners.
Oh, good.
They're the guys that sing 50s, 60s, and 70s songs, and they dress up as Sonny and Cher and do some duets. They're a nice group, and it's nice to have them back. They've been down, I think they've been down 5 years, maybe 6 years,
Right, Steve, we got about 30 seconds left, so I'm going to say to all you people out there, thank you for listening. God bless our great country. God bless our troops. But most of all, God bless the United States of America and all the people in it. Thank you.